Chapter 6. It grabbed me. I felt its cold tentacle as it wrapped around my neck. My scream cut off. My breath cut off. I tugged hard. Blindly, I struggled to free myself from its grasp. But it was stronger than me. It tightened around my neck and started to pull me. I thrashed the water, tried to kick at it, but I was helpless in its grasp. And then I heard its voice in my ear. "Dude, stop fighting me." Huh? I turned my head and saw Harlan. Harlan had his arms around my shoulder. He was pulling me toward the shallow end. "Stop fighting me, you jerk!" he cried. "I'm rescuing you. What's your problem?" My body went limp. I let out a long whoosh of air. I could see kids watching, alarmed looks on their faces, as Harlan dragged me across the pool. A group of girls huddled together, pointing at me, all talking at once. I knew my life was ruined. I was doomed. Totally doomed. From now on, people would talk about my panic attack. For the rest of my life, people would see me and remember how I had screamed like a baby in the school swimming pool. How I froze in terror and had to be pulled to safety by the worst person in the world, Harlan Eggman. "Just kill me now," I told Harlan. "Please, let me drown right here. I'm begging you." He unwrapped his arm from my shoulders and helped me stand in the shallow end. "Hey, I just saved your life, moron." He slapped me hard on the shoulder. "Do you know why?" "Because you believe human life is sacred?" That made him roar with laughter. "No, because now you'll be buying me lunch forever." He laughed again and pushed me up the ladder and out of the pool. I stood dripping on the pool edge. Everyone still stared. Coach Waller came rumbling toward me. "Bean, what was that all about?" he demanded. Before I could answer, Harlan came up behind me. He grabbed the sides of my swim trunks in both hands and tugged them down to my ankles. Will I ever forget the sound of the screams and the laughter as I stood there totally naked? What's your guess? Chapter 7. Somehow, I survived the rest of the day. At dinner, when Mom and Dad asked how the swim tryout went, I lowered my head and mumbled into my mashed potatoes. "Can't hear you, Bean," Dad said. I mumbled again. "Guess it didn't go well," Mom said. "Guess it didn't," I said. I could feel myself blushing again. I started to blush every time I thought about standing there in front of everyone with my swim trunks down at my ankles. Monday morning, I met Monroe outside our building and we walked to school. Monroe talked about the science assignment. At the end of the block, I stopped. "Did you see what Harlan did to me at the pool on Friday?" I said. Monroe shook his head. "No, I had to leave." I squinted at him. "You had to leave?" "I got a text from my mom and I had to go home. What happened at the pool? Did you make the team?" "I made the embarrassed for life team," I told him. I explained what happened. "Wow," Monroe said. "Wow." "After I pulled my trunks up, Coach Waller asked me to stay and try out," I said. But I couldn't. I just wanted to get out of there as fast as I could. Monroe groaned. "Did the coach punish Harlan?" "No, Waller had his back turned. He didn't see Harlan do it," I sighed. "I really thought I saw a shadow moving in the water. It wasn't just a panic attack. I've got monsters on the brain. I have to find a way to get over it." We crossed the street. 2 girls on bikes rolled by. They started to laugh. I wondered if they were laughing about me. "This guy Harlan is a bad dude," Monroe said. "Yes, he's a—" I stopped. I saw the big jerk thundering across the lawn, waving to us. "Oh no, here he comes." We stopped and watched him. His backpack flapped on his back. His big shoes thudded loudly on the ground. I grabbed Monroe's arm. "Listen, do whatever he says. Really, don't argue with him or try to fight him. I'm serious, he really will hurt you." Monroe pulled away from me. "Forget that," he said in a low voice. "You hold his arms and I'll bite his throat." I gasped. "Huh? What did you say?" "Just kidding," Monroe whispered. His hair had fallen over his eyes. He brushed it back. He had a strange expression on his face. I couldn't tell if it was anger or fear. It was a joke, Bean. "Well, don't joke with Harlan," I warned. "He doesn't get jokes. Be careful. Do whatever he says." Harlan bumped up against me, breathing hard. I stumbled back a few steps. He had big drops of sweat rolling down his forehead. His eyes slid from me to Monroe. "Hey, new kid, he snarled at Monroe. Think you're tough? No, Monroe answered softly. Harlan snapped his fingers over Monroe's nose. Think you're tough as me? No, Monroe replied. His nose turned bright red. I don't think I'm tough. Did Beanie Boy tell you how I de-pantsed him yesterday? Monroe nodded. Yes, he told me. Harlan snapped Monroe's nose again. Ow! Monroe rubbed his sore nose. That's a big lunch bag you got there, Harlan said. He squeezed Monroe's lunch with a big paw. Yeah, kinda, Monroe said. Harlan grinned. Since you're a new kid, I'm going to give you a break. A break? Yeah, I'll let you give me your whole lunch. Monroe's mouth dropped open. That's a break? Yeah, Harlan replied. I know I'm too nice, but I can't help it. Hand it over. Harlan stuck out his hand, waiting for Monroe to give him the lunch bag. But Monroe pulled back. He raised his eyes and stared hard at Harlan. Monroe's whole body tensed, and he gritted his teeth. Oh, no. Please, no. What's he going to do, Monroe? Please don't try to fight Harlan.